Okay, we're back. It's Roshfooco Watches and Things, and today we're going to take a look at, a brand, I guess. We've got 3 different examples. We'll go through each one individually and then I'll give you my thoughts. So the brand is James McCabe. If you're not aware, James McCabe is a kind of Anglo-Irish watchmaking pioneer from the 18th century. Early producer of a marine chronometer, and there was a legit James McCabe watch company until 1879. The modern iteration of the James McCabe watch company are using the name. I think they probably bought the copyright on the name. They do not have any link to the original company other than the name and the font. But we'll take a look at 3 different versions, and disclaimer, we're going to take a look at the 3 in the order that I bought them. It may not be the order in which they were produced. And I can't be bothered really to do the research ultimately, but let's take a look at it. This is the Belfast automatic, reference JM-1020. These retail for just over £300, although I think this version is discontinued now. I picked this up on eBay for £50, I think. One of those bids where you don't really want to buy it, but you end up winning. But it's okay. It's fairly substantial. It's 43.5 by 50 by 13.5. 20mm lug. As you can see, this has got fairly involved as far as textures are concerned on the dial. Obviously we've got the open heart, we've got this kind of translucent glass paneling, we've got striping on the top half of the dial, we've got this kind of concentric circular texture that goes around by the hour markers, and then we've got our detailed minute track and the bit that I liked especially assembled in the UK around that Arabic at 6. Applied markers. Faceted as well, so you're getting nice reflections of those stick indexes, Arabic at 12 and 6. Nice polished faceted handset as well, with a little bit of luminous material on there. Needle second hand. I love that old font of James McCabe. And as previously mentioned, they hooked me in with that assembled in the UK malarkey at the bottom. Sign crown, just a push pull. It does hand wind. Case is fairly basic. Pretty thick, and it's mainly satinite brushing with a polished steel bezel. Interesting they've done it that way around. You might have thought that polished case and brushed bezel might work, be more durable, I should say. Slightly domed crystal. I think this one's touted as being a sapphire coated mineral. That's a mineral crystal in my book. pretty handsome, if unspectacular. It wears well, in fact. Give me a second. So there it is on my 7-inch wrist. You can see 50 lug to lug. Fits well. I mean, it is big. Certainly not what you call a dress watch. The strap is aftermarket. In fact, my brother made this strap. It's a badass bit of leather that I just wanted to tone it down a bit. It's not a dress watch, so let's not pretend that it is. In fact, this is the band that it comes on. It's okay, decent enough leather. It's okay, but I keep it on this kind of thick brown leather. But yeah, it wears actually really well. It looks pretty sharp. Yes, I guess, you know, as far as the name is concerned, there's a bit of provenance there in watchmaking, certainly UK watchmaking, and it's got a decent enough automatic caliber. In fact, let's have a look at it. So there it is, beating away. Back of that display case back. This is a Miyota AN24. It's like an open heart version of the 8000 series. Hand winding but not hackable. As you can see there, we've got 50 meters of water resistance. Pretty handsome all in all. Looks sharp enough, decent enough. Let's have a look at the next one. So, after the buying the Belfast, because I like that assembled in the UK line, later on I bought this one, which is the Heritage Retrograde JM-1019-33. Retrograde because that day function, after it gets back to the end of the week, will reset itself to its original position, and then it will cycle through the days. That being a retrograde, something reverting to an earlier condition. This is a quartz watch, whereas the other was an automatic, so it's only 48 grams, pretty light. Nicer size, 39mm diameter, 45 lug to lug, 12 and a bit thick to that domed or box domed mineral, 20mm lug as before, rose gold tone, fully polished. They're not bothering with any differences in finishes here. Signed crown, 30 meters of water resistance this time. And you can see the case back. So on the face of it, mechanically, engineering wise, it's not particularly special, with a basic quartz module and no real attempt at any different finishes, although the case shape is fairly alluring and we've got a signed crown. There's not much to write home about. I guess the interest here is in the dial, and it is a particularly handsome beast, this one. Kind of silver tone dial, printed text on the dial, including the Romans. Love that railroad minute track around the outside that kind of warps and trips out when it hits the refraction of the boxed crystal. Blue hands. I don't think they're blued. I don't think they're thermally blued, but they're painted blue, and they do look really quite handsome. Kind of breguet style, I guess. we've got a 24-hour dial at 9 o'clock. As previously mentioned, we've got the retrograde date at 6, and we've got, sorry, the retrograde day at 6, and we've got the date at 3. This is an aftermarket strap. In fact, it's pretty badass. That is, should say it on it. Genuine lizard, perhaps. It looks pretty badass. I think this one comes on a rose gold bracelet, so unless you want to be bling master, you're probably better off changing that one out. Can't find much information on this one online, not the James McCabe website. Perhaps it's for the Asian market only, I'm not sure. I pick up lots of my watches on the Asian grey market, so perhaps that's it. This one certainly taps into the beautiful styling and design of old watchmaking. Got the retrogrades, got the Romans, got those blue Breguet style hands. This is a decent 39mm size, more dressy. Got that railroad minute track around the outside that does all sorts of madness when refracted by that crystal. So after I got to Belfast, I picked this one up. Yes, it's quartz, and probably not a very special quartz movement. Yeah, the case is, I mean, it looks okay, but they've not really put any effort into it. But the dial's beautiful, and it does tap into kind of historical watchmaking cues, which I do like. There are some negatives, but certainly more positives than negatives, I would say. Here it is on my 7-inch wrist. Wears beautiful, looks incredibly handsome. Put on a nice strap. It's killer. So we've gone from my first James McCabe, which was the automatic caliber Belfast watch. Then we went through the Heritage Retrograde, which was kind of quartz and fairly basic case-wise, but beautiful dial. And still allured by the assembled in the UK tag, I went on to get a third James McCabe. This is the London Slim quartz JM-1016. 43, 50 lug to lug, and only 9mm thick. Again, it's quartz with kind of slightly domed bit of mineral glass. Silver dial, basic applied markers. Yes, they are applied, but there's no craft put into those. Romans at 12 and 6. Date, at least the date's got a beveled edge to it. And an entirely polished case. .50 meters of water resistance. 62 grams, pretty light. This is an aftermarket strap. I think this one comes on a stainless steel bracelet as well. Interestingly enough, this one also comes in a huge lacquered piano black box as well, so it's got all the bells and whistles, packaging. But the watch itself is certainly not much cop. In fact, this one is, I don't think I'm out of line by saying that this one's pretty much a fashion watch. It's way too big. I mean, without that bezel, and with it being 43mm, that's got a huge face. It's too big, it's unimaginative. These retail for around £200 new, which is just incredible. What are you doing? I picked this up on eBay for £29 in 2017. That was probably too much to pay for it as well. There's not much to say about it really. I'll try it on so you can see. There it is. I mean, it's big, isn't it? In fact, it's huge. And it doesn't have any nuance. It doesn't have any of that design that we saw in the previous two models. In fact, let's just wrap it up and have a look at all three. So, to wrap up, like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm not sure of the chronology of when these were made. I can only comment on the chronology of me purchasing them. But we've gone from, you know, a fairly handsome, mechanical, nuanced Belfast automatic through to a quartz number, but with some really lovely historical, traditional elements in the dial, to the London Slim, which is, I mean, it's just a fashion watch, isn't it? So my question is, I wonder what James McCabe as a company are trying to do here. They have harvested the name of a very well respected watchmaker, and they are turning out watches that seem to be decreasing in quality, but not in price, funnily enough, as the years go by. I'll leave it up to you whether James McCabe is a brand that you want to have a look at and check out. Again, if you're from the UK, you might like that assembled in the UK at the bottom. I do. Not sure how true it is on reflection, but if it were up to me, I would certainly go for the Heritage Retrograde if you can handle the rose gold tone. The Belfast automatic if you've got the wrist to cope for it. I'd leave that London Slim on eBay for some other mug to buy though. Roshfooco, watches and things. I'm out.
Yeah!